Welcome back to Don's Life. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for joining today. Today we're going to install these low profile fender flares on the GMC Sierra AT4. Let's go. Now if you've been along for the ride up until now on the Don's Life channel, you'll know that we've been doing some changes to the AT4. I've had this truck for a couple years now, and I'm constantly doing little things, some big things to change it and make it unique for me. And if you have been watching this channel, then you know that most of the projects that I do, they're kind of universal. That's my approach, is they can really be applied to a lot of different platforms. It doesn't have to be this specific truck. So if you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing, because I'd love to have you join the Don's Life family. Now let's get started. Now I've been shopping for some fender flares for quite a while. I've been looking for well over a year, something that I've wanted to put on the truck for a long time. And I've wanted something that is paintable, also smooth enough to wrap, and I'm pretty sure I found them. That's where EGR comes in. So today, the sponsor of the video is EGR. They've been around for over 50 years. I partnered with them because they make a product that I know is going to fit properly and is made to last. So some of the reasons that I chose EGR and this product here is because this is a no drill install, at least in most cases. With many of their products, such as this, I'm not going to have to drill when I attach it to the vehicle, which is a big bonus for a lot of people. Now, normally these would come in a nice, smooth, matte black finish, also with UV protection, so you can put them right on the vehicle, and you're not going to have to worry about the sun's rays fading them or making the plastic brittle. But I chose to have mine color matched to the paint code that comes with my vehicle. They're not a perfect match, but it's pretty darn close, and I think it's going to look great on the truck. And again, I went this route, so I could always wrap them if I chose to. These also come in an option with rivets. I chose to go with the smooth version, not only for the ease of wrapping, but I just see every fender flare out there. Nothing against the rivets, but I just see that it's overdone, at least in the area that I live in, and I thought something a little different might be the way to go. I think it's important to note too that along with the UV protection, this is also manufacturer OEM approved material when they manufacture these things. So you can tell just by looking at it, the fit and the finish, it's outstanding, it's perfect. And I know that you'll notice that once we put it up against the truck and start installing it, it should be seamless. It shouldn't look like an aftermarket designed item, because these here are actually available from the GM accessories department as a trusted vendor, if you will, for a product to upgrade and put on your truck. When you really look at how these are cut, I mean, they use robots to do it, so I know it's going to be an amazing fitment. So you may be wondering, why did I choose kind of a conservative fender flare? Well, I did that on purpose because the wheel offset that I chose on my upgraded wheels has the tire sticking out just a little bit further than stock, and I wanted it to line up perfectly and flush with the outside of the fender flare itself, and I'm pretty sure we're going to achieve that. The only thing is, and this has nothing to do with EGR, but I have an oversized tire, and it's taller and wider than the original, plus with the offset it sits out a little farther, so there's the potential that we may need to do a little bit of trimming up in the front, because currently if you come over here, it's rubbing inside the mud flap. I don't know if you can see the scuff marks there. That's the only spot that it's currently rubbing. Once we take this off, which I'll get into in a little bit, depending on how the fender flare mounts to this location, we may have to shave a bit of the plastic there. But we'll figure that out when we get to it. And who doesn't like a limited lifetime warranty? These come with it. EGR's got you covered. Now we're going to start with the installation. I think we'll start with the back, since that's what I'm holding on to. And I think I'm going to blow your minds a little bit when you see just how easy this install is. So at first glance, you would think that these holes right here are probably going to be where the screws go, wherever there's screws here. That is not the case. We don't actually have to take off this whole fender trim that's already here, which is a huge plus, because all those clips in there, after a couple of years, they just get more brittle and more fragile, and I'm probably going to break one taking them off, even though I try to be very careful. All we have to do is take off this mud flap. This front mud flap here actually stays in place. You'll see how it all fits together. And in the beginning, I was also thinking I probably have to put adhesive on here. Well, I don't. It comes with this nice weather stripping already installed. Some of these flares you might have to install it yourself, but they'll provide it. And it's going to create a seal up against the body. And because of that robotic trimming I was talking about before and how it contours perfectly to the shapes and curves of the body, it fits nice. And I know this because I've already done the other side. So I'll go through this side with you, and I'll show you just how easy this is. We're only going to need a T15 Torx driver. I'm going to use my drill with a Torx T15 bit. And we're going to take off that mud flap, and we're going to install the first one together. So let's go. I got a little tool hack for you here. I have this angle driver here for my bit, but you can see it's cracked and a piece of the material's missing, so this just falls out really easy. Take a piece of scrap plastic. You don't need very much. Just put it on there. There, now it's not gonna fall out. And I'm ready to take out these screws. So we got a couple in the front of the mud flap here. So I just use this here to depress the clip like that, and then I pulled it out. They do supply you with some alcohol prep pads, but if you're like me, you always have your alcohol on hand. Now these fender flares, they come up to this body line here, so we just want to make sure it's all clean. Got my isopropyl alcohol. Just give it a wipe. I don't really have to clean this, but since we're here, why not? Otherwise, it's just going to be covered by the fender flare. Okay, it just keeps getting easier. We're going to need 6 clips because this has 6 holes. So all we have to do is grab the fender flare, double check that our rubber seal is pushed on all the way, and that it looks good and it's all lined up. Looks good to me. Pretty easy to adjust as long as you don't have it all secured down. So we're going to push it up gently against the body. We're gonna try to make sure it seems to fit where it's supposed to. I think that's good right there. Now to make it a little easier, I have a pry tool here because what you're really trying to do is you're trying to sandwich the white piece of plastic from the fender flare, or black if you don't have it painted, with the plastic that is already here in this lip. So you got to sandwich them both together, and then this clip has a little bump on it that's going to lock itself into the holes that are on here. So again, make sure it's lined up. Make sure your rubber seal is not pinched anywhere. It seems really good right there. So what I do here is I find the hole I'm going to work with. So this one, I just put that in there, so that creates a bit of a gap for me and then puts pressure on the plastic that I'm connecting to down. And then I have this one here, and these little bumps face down. And then you'll feel if it's grabbing both plastic until it clicks. So that's held in place. I'll pull this out. And we'll go to the next one in line, right here. Grab myself a clip. You may not need to put a pry tool in there, but I find that it just makes it a little bit easier to grab both pieces of plastic. There. There we go, it's installed. I think it looks good. Fits the body lines nice. We're gonna move to the front now, but I'm gonna close the garage door because the sun is getting really hot and it's in my face and I wanna be able to get this job done today. Okay, door's closed. Now we can breathe a little bit. We're gonna take this mud flap off here. We've got the 3 screws there, and then we have 1 just in the back, so it should be 4 altogether. Now this is where this angle tool comes in handy. Otherwise, you'd probably have to turn your wheel so you could get to those screws. But we are going to do it this way. Right tool, right job. Right job, right tool, something like that. Now the truck was already cleaned ahead of time. I'm doing this just to show you it's important and it's a step you don't want to miss. Check our seal, make sure it's on tight. Okay, we got 5 clips for the 5 holes that are here, but this guy down here is where we're going to retain one of the screws that we took out from the mud flap. Same thing as before, you know, put a wedge in here just to make it a little easier. There, it's held in place. Now for alignment, I'm going to put this screw in right away that goes down here. So essentially we're done, but I'm not done because I have these larger wheels in here. I have to make sure that I don't have any rubbing. Remember on the old mud flap, we were rubbing in this area right here, just past the mounting screw. That would have been right there. Now, because the different curvature here and how this sticks out a bit, I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to trim a little bit of material just past where the screw is used to mount this, so I'm not really concerned. Again, this isn't a fitment issue with EGR. This is me going with larger tires than what the manufacturer supplies for the vehicle. So we're going to take it outside, we're going to crank the wheel, and we are going to measure what we need to trim. I've already dealt with the other side, so we'll just be filming this side right here so you can see what it entails, and then we should be able to wrap this up. They're not rubbing, that's the main thing. Everything is ready to go. I'm really happy, but we can't finish this video without a montage. Well, there we go, we got them installed. I think they look great. Right now we're gonna leave them white for a while. Before I even got these, I was considering wrapping them in the camel black that we have on a lot of the rest of the truck. Don't know for sure what I'll do, but at least we have them looking pretty good for now. Good quality product. And thank you EGR in advance for partnering with me for the EGR roll track, which we're going to install in a video down the road. But again, thank you EGR. I'll leave links to this in the video description below, as well as their main page. I'd like to thank you for watching today's video. Hit that like button. Please consider subscribing. We'll talk to you next time.